Franklin was pretty much always his worst enemy. Dad, do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. You have a lot of thoughts. I'll probably cover Pat Kraft and PSU and the PSU search all in one here.
Okay.
Okay. Jopa, born and grew up in Brooklyn. Street smart, maybe a street fighter. I can't verify that, but he brought that street fight mentality to Penn State in 1950. Instilled it in his players from 66 to 2011. Made boys into men. One of those boys into men was Terry Smith. Played for him for 4 years. We've all had coaches that, beat us into the ground. These two soldiers in our presence remember who trained them to fight. Terry Smith wants to emulate Joe Paterno. He has the same mentality as Joe. At the Indiana game, I witnessed, especially the defense, jogging off the field, not sprinting, not shoulders down, heads down, just no fight. Went to Michigan, nothing against Darren or Thomas, but the Marines landed there. 5 sacks. Oh my gosh. In the last 4 minutes, we beat the heck out of that quarterback. That was, wow, that was really exciting. From Indiana to Michigan, what a difference that Coach Terry made. And then Nebraska come into our house, and we told them it was our house. And I believe, the feeling I get is Iowa, Ohio State, we didn't do too good on defense. But instead of, Terry having the power, he has the power to let go, let go of the OC, let the OC go, let the DC go. My feeling is, he went to them, or he had them come to him, and he said, I'm not going to let you go, but this is the way I'm going to run the defense, and this is the way I want you to run the defense. There was a big difference between the way they played in Ohio State, Indiana, and the way they played at Michigan.
Big.
I think he took over. I think he took over the offense and says, you're staying, but this is the way I want the offense run. I just think he has the guts to take control. That's my opinion on that. I mean, and then as far as Pat Kraft and PSU, I think it's the easiest decision that Pat has under his tenure at Penn State. Terry wants to make boys into men, okay? And the fight is won on the field. And if you win the fight on the field, everything else falls into place. Money, fans, bowl games. If you can win the fight in the trenches and on the field, nothing else matters. And I think Terry Smith can do that. He can win it with his players on the field and in the locker room. And then, you don't want to bring in a $100 million 10-year contract like LSU does and then get into a bind like, holy crap, 3 years in, we're 6-6. Then the buyout is $70 million. Terry wants to coach football. He doesn't want to. He's not a politician. He doesn't kiss ass. He kicks ass. So
got that
Get
right.
him a 4-year contract. Okay, 4-year contract, say under 16 million. He wants to coach. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be a politician. Okay, he brings his first year in. He brings his freshman guys in. Give him 4 years to turn him into whatever. And if he can prove that he can turn his freshmen into fighters in 4 years, then re-up. That's my opinion. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Pat has the momentum with Terry Smith right now with the fans, and especially the players. Let that momentum go. Keep going. Not a 10-year, $100 million contract. That just doesn't make sense anywhere. And also, they maybe should be looking for a GM and not a head coach. They already have a head coach. A GM that's going to just take 100% of the NIL responsibilities. And a head coach should always be close to the transfer portal, because if a player's looking to transfer, maybe especially the head coach got to talk to that kid and say, okay, what's up? What's going on? I think I think he mentioned that when Pat Roll come to his office when he was in high school coaching, and a player come in and Terry sat down and talked to the player in front of coach, and that's where the other coach gained a lot of respect for Terry. I think Terry can keep a player from transferring, but NIL is a whole different ballgame. That's a head coach cannot control NIL and be a head coach at the same time. He can't get the players in a fighting mentality and try to be an NIL coordinator at the same time. It's just impossible, but he needs to stay close to the transfer portal and what's going on there. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I mean, Thomas made a very good, interesting, thoughtful presentation there. Maybe Pat's watching them. Maybe Pat heard something that he didn't like and he had to be a witness there. I don't know. But I wouldn't want my boss sitting behind me. I'm not sure if he's in the dugout during baseball games or right behind the head coach during a volleyball game, but I think he needs to be at the game, but up in the upstairs somewhere watching. He can see what we see, right? That's all I'm going to say. That's all. Thank you for your time, Mark.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing about Terry, I want Terry Smith to be the head coach too. He's just a solid coach, and I think he should get the job. Minus, put everything aside, if you think about it, this team has totally improved every week since he took over with a freshman quarterback. Now, a few factors. He did help a lot with recruiting. I think he is largely responsible for the recruiting at Penn State, especially the defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Dixon is here because of Terry Smith, for example. But this roster is a head coach Franklin roster. Franklin was the head coach when these guys came here. A lot of these guys came here because of Franklin. We see all the decommitments. It is what it is. So Terry Smith is going to have to. He's been coaching for 4 games, right? The math. He has 5 games.
5. 6 weeks, 5 games.
5 games. So he has now, if he is now the head coach, he has the off season. He has everything that entails. He has roster turnover, new guys coming in. new assistants, everything that goes into being a head coach. He has to deal with that now. He's not just coming in after a firing. He is fully on adrenaline. Doesn't take anything away from his ability, but he is fully on adrenaline right now, trying to help his school. He loves Penn State. So when let's say we lost this week, or we lost in a bowl game. Like let's say we lose the bowl game. What are people going to say if we lose a bowl game? Or because we blame a lot of it on the assistants right now, but what are people going to say if you lose to the bowl game? And then we go into the offseason with a loss. Is it going to be different in terms, not from like Letterman and stuff, but just fans? Is the support going to be different? I don't think so. But I want Terry Smith to be the head coach, give him a shot, give him a 2 or 3 year deal. But at the same time, I just hope that he's being treated right and treated fairly. And if he is the head coach, that it doesn't go bad, because that will be heartbreaking. But at the same time, if he is not the head coach, he's here and he's helping the next guy, because who said, Terry Azing, whatever that is. He said, I don't think we fired Franklin just to hire his assistant. I would like Coach Terry to get it, but I think it'll be someone else. So as much as I want to hope Terry gets the job, I just don't think he will. Therefore, I don't want to focus on that, because I really do want him to get it. But like I said before we got on, I don't think he's going to. So I want to focus on what I think will actually happen. And that's what can he do for us right now to keep him on this team and keep him as involved as we can. That's what I want to focus on. Yeah. But I just hope, if he's not being considered, that he's at least being shown the respect that he deserves. Terry Smith has to stay at Penn State, or this whole thing could implode, because the fan base is all behind him. So whether or not we wanted what we want or don't want, it doesn't matter. It's what actually happens. And if he gets it, everyone will be happy. But if he does not get it, then I think Bob Chesney, as an example, is a great pick. Yes. Because I think he will be fully on board. He's a moldable guy, and he's going to build his team with us and with Terry Smith. Use the analogy of a veteran quarterback, and they draft a first round quarterback. That veteran's still there. Say the starter takes over. That veteran is still there to show him the ropes if he's doing it the right way. And that's what Terry Smith is. So it's a tough situation as a fan, because I really want him to I do want him to get it, but I don't know.
Well, that marriage is, you mold all of the old school mentality of Terry Smith, right? And you have his biggest disadvantage is the possibility that he's not going to be able to recruit NIL transfer portal guys. And then you have the guy that's just over in Terry Smith, or not Terry Smith, and Bob Chesney, who took 53 players plus and inputted them into his JMU roster, not Signetti's players, his players, and went 10-1 in year 2 and won the Boca Raton Bowl last year. So you put both of those dynamics together, plus Chesney's NIL, it's almost like you don't need a GM, and you have this beautiful marriage. And whether it's Terry on top or and Bob like as an assistant, whether it's the opposite like of what you said, which is probably going to happen, Bob is the coach, Terry is the assistant, it's going to be a beautiful marriage. I really hope that happens to the benefit of Penn State.
Yeah, one thing that I want them to, I hope does not happen right now, is this is very delicate, because if you hire Terry Smith right now, which makes total sense, If you hire him right now, 2-3 years down the road, it doesn't work out, fine. Be an assistant for us, retire, whatever you want to do. But because there's plenty of fish in the sea, down the road, there'll be more coaches out there. But there won't be another Terry Smith.
Nope.
So if you don't hire Terry Smith now and it doesn't work out, all we're going to hear is you should have hired Terry Smith. And on top of that, but here's another thing too. And I hope us fans, it's in one ear out the other. James Franklin at some point is going to say, yeah, that's why I hired him at Penn State. So he's going to say that at some point. And he also did say, I stay in touch with Franklin, which does terrify me. But Terry's a smart guy. But I just think it's pretty delicate because if they don't hire him right now, then and it doesn't work out, Pat Kraft is gone.
Yeah.
Most likely. And there's going to be a lot of Letterman fans, alumni, very angry. And this hiring of Terry Smith, if they do hire him, it's redemption. People still do not donate here because of what they did to Joe. That was so wrong what they did.
Yep.
By the way, the guy that made the announcement of Joe's firing, long story short, his son tried to walk onto the team and he didn't make it. So might have been some motivation there. But, the Lettermen were not welcome under Franklin. The Lettermen are now welcome under Terry. They could totally redeem this school if they hire Terry Smith. And it doesn't work out, fine. Well, at least we tried it. But this whole fan base, this whole family, Penn State family, will be back together. No one donated to Franklin. No one liked him. This whole family will be back together if they hire Terry Smith. So they have to, I don't know. They have to do it right.
Yeah, and I want to say something for Pat Kraft that I think you got to remember Pat Kraft has not gotten his chance to hire his guy at Penn State. He's been working behind the scenes here for a long time.
I believe fully in Pat Kraft.
But I will say this. When Pat Kraft came on, that's when you started to see the money behind the program start to change and the booster mentality started to change. It wasn't when Franklin was here. It was when Pat Kraft came in that started to change. And I can tell you now, I don't think they get that $700 million stadium renovation if Pat Kraft isn't running that show.
Right.
So, I have plenty of things I've seen about Pat Kraft to give him the benefit of the doubt, let the man do his job and see what he does with it. If he's convinced Chesney's the guy, I'm okay with that. Let's see what happens. But I am concerned about losing Terry because when you look at the tape, there's no question this team has done a complete 180 from anything I've seen them do in 12 years. They look like a totally different team. And I've always said this, I'm the type of fan that my team doesn't have to win all the time. They just have to play good football. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to play bad football, you better win. And if you're going to play good football, well, if you play a good game with somebody and it was really entertaining, I'm still going to cheer for you. I'm still going to be pretty happy with how that went.
Like you said, Aaron, we wanted life this year.
Yeah, there was no life.
Now see the Undertaker popping out of the coffin. That was us after Nebraska. I mean, totally back. I mean, not even close. We are totally different now because of Terry Smith. But at the same time, from both sides, Terry Smith was given a job. He was the assistant head coach. That you're the vice president. The president, whatever, something happens to him, you're the guy now. That's Terry Smith. He's the vice president of Penn State football. He has to step in and do his job. That's what he's doing to a T. Now, there's been some clock management issues. There's been some decisions that we don't agree with. Again, we can blame the coordinators right now. We don't really know exactly what's going on. But I think Terry Smith has a full grip on this team now. And it took him some time, which obviously it's going to take you time, but he did it a lot quicker than I think most people would. So he's stepping in, doing his job, and that's it. That is his job. He's doing his job right now. So he's focused on Rutgers, then he's focused on a bowl game if we make it. So You know, I don't know if he's even really totally yeah, I mean, he is the right guy for the job because of the way he speaks. He is would you say, Dad? He not an ass kicker, he's not
He's
an
not a
ass kisser, he's an
politician,
ass
you know.
kicker.
He's
Yeah.
not a puppet. He's Terry Smith.
He's the opposite of what we had.
You know, kissing butt. I mean,
He's genuine.
he doesn't cave into the
Very good.
people. He's the boss. It's his way or the highway, kind
He
of.
said this is his locker room. That's
Right.
why I think kids are going to play in the bowl game. They don't have a choice. You're playing in the bowl game.
Yeah, I mean,
back in the day, we didn't not play bowl games. You're playing in the bowl game. So
yeah. He mentioned that in. Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
They're going to play. This is the rest of the season's an audition for every single player. So they'd be stupid not to.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this about Terry Smith, and if Bob Chesney is the guy, which it's looking like it, these guys have an open mind. And it seems like with Terry and with Bob, they put their scheme to their players. They don't take their scheme and enforce it on their players. And Franklin and Colonel Nicky were just that. You can't play football in your mind. You have to play it to your strengths. Exactly. Terry was great at just fitting that, and I think Bob Chesney is too. So it could stay the same offense. You're not going to have the same team. You're not going to have the same running backs. It's totally going to change. But I think that Kraft is going to put the right person in place. And that triangle that we did talk about, I think that it will settle down. Next year is going to be a little tricky, but we'll see how it goes.
I did want to touch on something Mark Lesko Sr. said.
Sure.
You pointed out that the way that the sport is looking now, it's changing, and maybe you need to think about those GMs and stuff. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a fan of the Eagles, and the Eagles are not where they are now if not for their organizational health. Their organizational health is the reason that they're as successful as they are. Okay. And I've said for a while now, as this sport keeps changing, and that NIL comes in, you've got more like a free agent pool going. There's a reason they have GMs in the NFL. It's because when coaches try to be GMs, i.e. Andy Reid at the Eagles, it usually doesn't go well, right? And it ended his career in Philadelphia. Sometimes there's just too much that needs to be done to have one dude trying to be the center of it all. And what you need to have a group of really good quality people who are, not a lot of them, because then it starts to get messy, but a couple of really good dudes in the right positions make all the difference. And I think most schools are going to need to start doing that GM thing. USC, they stole their GM from over in Notre Dame, and they're trending in an upward direction. I know it's not like a huge change, right? But they are getting better. And I do believe that that's something all the schools in the sport will eventually have to kind of adjust to. But I could see Terry Smith, with the advantage of having a good GM like that, is that Terry Smith can be a coach's coach, because he doesn't have to do all the personnel stuff. He's got a GM who that's their focus. That's what they're good at.
Yep. Totally agree.
And if you wanted to salvage Franklin to
go ahead, Aaron.
Work with NIL, and he probably does do that job pretty well, but I don't think he's an on the field coach. But that's what I was thinking.
James Franklin, I always said it, he was the Henry Ford of college football. Henry Ford had have you guys heard that before? Me say that?
No.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So James Franklin was the Henry Ford of college football. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. In fact, I was supportive of it. Okay. Henry Ford was not good at building an engine or painting a car or producing tires or the supply chain of getting the car from the factory to the lot. He wasn't good at that. What he was good at is picking the right people to put in those positions. The problem is, if James Franklin Henry Ford was the real Henry Ford, Ford would not exist. because you can't be the Henry Ford of college football and then go and do all their jobs when you
Right.
that is not how it works.
Right.
You're not good at it, so don't go do it.
Right.
That's it. But at the same time, Henry Ford made overall adjustments, changes when he needed to. That's all you need to do, and he did not do that. He stepped in too much, and he didn't make the right changes. So, yeah, that's how it was. So yes, you need a GM. Our GM, I don't know how he was, but he was under Franklin, so he probably wasn't that good. But Andy Frank was he's gone. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I heard some chatter too about putting Terry in right as head coach. You know, I'm just going to say every head coach wasn't a head coach until they became a head coach. Joe Paterno was an assistant from 50 to 66, and then he became head coach of Penn State. And look what he did for Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
He coached till he was 84, 85. The last 12 years that Terry Smith was assistant is less important, I believe, than the 4 years that he played for Coach Paterno. The 4 years that he played for Coach Paterno carries a lot more weight than he's bringing that to the locker room, and the players are buying into it. And the only hiccup I've seen that for Coach Terry was the second half of the Ohio State game. Other than that, it's been an exciting 6 weeks, 5 games, almost as exciting as it was back in '86 when they won the national championship.
Yeah.
Personally, as a fan, I haven't been so excited about even looking forward to Rutgers and the bowl game.
Yep.
They're playing good ball.
Let him prove himself at Rutgers in the bowl game, and then go from there. Okay, Aaron and Thomas, if he wins Rutgers and goes to a bowl game and wins, what's your opinion on him then?
He's already proven in my book. I played against him. I played against Gateway 3 straight years and lost 35-0, 49-0, 45-0. Okay. The guy can coach. That's one. Okay. Number 2, and more importantly than him being a credible coach and knowing the game, he's a leader of men. He knows how to deal with adversity, which makes him even more of a leader of a man. Franklin crumbled under adversity. Terry Smith faces the biggest adversity every single day at Penn State, has done it. That is a mark of a true leader. A true leader isn't it isn't somebody who's just riding the tops of a national preseason poll. It's facing adversity and overcoming adversity and dominating through that. To me, he's already shown that.
Yeah.
Against top-notch competition, he's competed.
Mm-hmm.
Something that Franklin really didn't do.
Dude, Indiana, there's no shot we're even close against Indiana.
No. We're defeated.
And I'll say this. What, Dad?
I went in trying to win that game. I mean, I thought we could. I thought we could win it.
Oh, we could. We absolutely could have.
Yeah, absolutely. We literally we fumbled it at the end. See, that's one thing we could break that down. That
I will also say,
totally.
Mark, Indiana just went and won the game too. Credit to where credit.
That was a Heisman moment right there.
It was
Heisman Trophy moment.
Fernando Mendoza made the throws he absolutely had to make with this much space for every throw, and every lucky rabbit's foot Indiana had, they burned, but they got it done. But I will say they got outplayed. Penn State outplayed them in that game.
That's why Indiana's ranked number 1 in the Big Ten over Ohio State.
Yeah.
They deserve it.
Exactly. Yeah. We won't get into that, but yes, they absolutely deserve to be number 1. But here's the thing: do you guys have college degree? I know me and Dad have college degrees. Do you guys have college degrees? Okay, bachelor's,
Yeah.
Thomas.
I got associates in business.
All right,
The guy
so
was in the Navy.
Having a college degree, that's something no one can ever take away from you.
Mhm.
That gives you an advantage if you do it right. And again, we're all for Terry's. I want Terry Smith to be the head coach. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I just don't want to. That's like, yeah.
Do we need to come off the mountain of it's going to be okay if it's not? His merits will deserve him to never be fired from Penn State.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But,
yeah, absolutely. But what Terry Smith has that no one else has in the hunt right now is a bachelor's degree from the school of Joe Paterno. You can't take that away from him. He was a player, like Dad said. He has 4 years under Joe Paterno. He graduated from the school of Joe Paterno. That separates him like a college degree does. So that's another thing that you have to consider. Like Dad said, that he played for 4 years under Joe.
Right.
And so did Dan Connor. So did Alan Zamitis. So did Calvin Lowry when he was there. These guys all graduated from the Joe Paterno program. Tim Shaw, he has ALS. Man, he's tough as nails. And first of all, he was tough as nails as a player. And he played for Joe Paterno. And he's battling ALS. I mean, he's fighting that harder than probably anybody possibly could. So just a side example, but that's something Terry Smith has and understands that no one else there, except for those guys that played for him, could possibly understand. So that's another factor about it. But if you guys want to say anything else about Terry, because me and Dad absolutely want him. Whether you two do or not, it's if you don't, it's fine. Aaron's kind of in the middle, I think. Thomas, you want Terry Smith. You're not a Penn State fan, but you still want Terry Smith.
I want both. I want them in a duality.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds scenario. It doesn't matter whose is which, because Chesney is going to be on top later on, and he's going to be Penn State and him are going to be better for it long term.
Bob Chesney, in a roundabout way, could be the next Brian Hartline for us. Brian Hartline is born and bred Ohio. The guy spent 4 years outside of Ohio, and that's when he was a Miami Dolphin. And I don't think he goes on vacation. He vacations at a beach in Ohio. He doesn't leave Ohio.
Yeah, on the lakes. Yeah.
On the lakes. He is born and bred Ohio. Bob Chesney is born and bred Pennsylvania. He is extremely successful at his job throughout his career. He is very good at what he does. So if he can come in, he can be mentored into our next Brian Hartline, the guy that will take over after Ryan Day. Ryan Day, he's a great coach. He has an insane winning percentage and a national title. So he can be the next guy. But I want to talk about Bob Chesney because I think that's, again, Sports Illustrated said a couple hours ago, coveted college football coach predicted to replace James Franklin at Penn State. That is Bob Chesney. Now, if SI is saying that, I have not followed SI recently, but SI is saying that. Okay, that's a pretty big news source. I think if they're saying that right now about him, there's probably a pretty good possibility that it's going to be him. So I want to talk about Bob Chesney, and if he is the head coach, how does it work with us here at Penn State? That's what I want to talk about next. What's the latest, Aaron?
So with Mr. Chesney, the odds are now up to 44%.
44%. And that it was 34.
The word is still, it keeps climbing. So, so the word is strongly in his favor. Yes. I will say, even when even when you guessed right, you just guessed, right? So, yes, I guessed James Franklin would be a VT right away. It wasn't that much of a stretch. I just kind of guessed it. Good for me. But the thing was, with Bob Chesney, the things I like about him, he talks the talk and he seems to walk the walk. He has, my concern with him, or the things I'm just unsure of with him, is that he has climbed very quickly through the ranks. Like, he's kind of been rocketing up. And while he has been successful everywhere he goes, and there's no substitute for that, that is what it is. Sometimes when guys elevate really fast, you kind of don't get a feel for how they handle the dynamic change going from small school to bigger school to really big school in a hurry. There's a lot of dynamics that you're not going to have at James Madison. It's just different, right? So while I don't subscribe to those as like, this is oh man, this is going to tank him, he's not going to have success because of those. I do think there are forces at especially big schools. There are forces there who can make it hard for you to be successful if they really don't like you, right? And I can't see that happening with Bob Chesney at Penn State. I don't. He's a Pennsylvania guy. I know he's not a Penn State guy, but he's a Pennsylvania guy. He seems like the type of guy who would embrace Penn State's history, which would be, to me, you have to do that. You cannot be like Franklin was with this school. You have to come in and embrace the whole history of the school and really live and really dive into it. I think Chesney would be that guy, but I cannot tell you his personal opinions. I don't know what his list of the greatest places to coach would look like, right? Every coach is different. And so maybe Penn State's the number one school he ever wanted to be at. And his first thought when he gets here is put Joe Puss stuff back, and we're gonna start like this is a whole new program, and we're gonna build it back up with the history that it had being the foundation that we're gonna build off. If he's going to go that route, he has all the right stuff. He says all the right things. And based on his actions at places like James Madison and King and the other Holy Cross, the 5 years he worked at Holy Cross, I think he could be hugely successful. But it's going to come down to, and the other thing with him is he could be your long-term coach. I don't know what his thoughts are on the NFL. That's a whole different story. But as far as if PA is his guiding state and Penn State is the school at top of his list, if he's the guy, he could be your next Joe Paterno, right? He could be your next 40-year head coach. He's only 48 years old.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's more of a gamble than Terry Smith, ironically, because you just don't. He's been rocketing up really fast, and you can't say for sure what you're going to get long term. But Terry Smith, you know what you're getting is a hard-nosed football guy with a Penn State history. But Chesney is a guy, if I'm taking a gamble on a young guy that I want to be my long-term head coach, he's certainly, of all the candidates that are out there like that, he would be at the top of my list. So,
real quick, guys, for those of you guys that are listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. Please help us get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get there tonight. I don't know who all is in here, but if all of you subscribe, we'll be at 1,000 subs. So please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Even the haters, help me out. Get us to 1,000. David K, thanks for the 149, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, Aaron, right now it sounds like it's between Bob Chesney and Dayball. Either way, I think Dayball's going to be on our staff, to be honest with you. His daughter goes to Penn State. So I think he's going to be on our staff, and I would fully welcome that.
I have a question for Thomas.
Yes.
You played against Terry Smith.
Yes.
Would you rather play for Terry Smith or for Bob Chesney?
Because I love what Terry Smith has done, I'd love to play for Terry Smith. Schematically right now, how they're running the ball, how they're old school, just, throwing guys open off of play action, and they're just dominating the line. They're utilizing their line the way they should have all along.
Mm-hmm.
All this RPO type of stuff, keeping the line on the line of scrimmage, like that got thrown away. Andy Kotelnicki's offense got thrown away, and Terry Smith was just like, guys, go upfield and just demolish people. Like, I want to be a part of that. If I'm a running back, I want to be a part of that offense. You know, and my defense loves me because I'm spending 8 minutes a drive. You know,
it's
like,
exciting times. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and I hope the next coach keeps that type of identity. They don't go to like spread HD or air raid.
Well, we don't need to like keep what Terry's doing. We just need to do something that works.
Right.
So Franklin never really did that. Again, I'm not saying any of this stuff to crap on Franklin. I'm moving on. I just make the Henry Ford comparison because I'm saying what we need next. And it's not someone like that. We know that, but I'm just giving examples. Something that works.
Yeah.
Bob Chesney could bring in, like, I don't know really many offensive names. Like, what's the Aaron? What's the West Coast offense? Isn't that like
the old school West Coast NFL style? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call it pro style now, but
so that's like multiple receivers. Okay,
throw it out within 3 seconds. Yes,
he could bring that in, and if it works, it works. You know what I mean? But it just needs to make sense. Let's use common sense.
It got to fit your guys.
I said, simplify the offense. We have so much talent. Let's simplify the offense. Clearly, they did that, and we smoked Nebraska. So,
we did.
You know what I mean? They just have to do something that works. Common sense.
Yeah.
If you have 3-6-3 receivers that run a 4-3, you can probably throw the ball.
Exactly.
You can probably throw it deep.
Yep.
So you need to adjust your play style to the talents that you have.
Exactly.
And that's why your playbook needs to have various sets in it and things so that you can kind of say, okay, this year we're probably going to use a lot more 11 and 12 personnel because we got really good blocking tight ends. So when we go big with a 12 or 13, we are going to be tough for anybody to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I have really agile, like, man, my 2 guards are both so agile. I could have them run 40 yards across the field and put a block on for me. Cool. I'm going to use a lot of zone blocking scheme where I'm dropping guys out and just taking them and getting hat on a hat advantage on that edge. And that was kind of what they did at Nebraska. They moved those guards and those tackles a lot more, and it gave them hat advantage downfield. And once they blew the play open, there was big wide open holes through the defense. And the same, Nick Singleton, one cut back type guy. You give him a nice lane, he's gone, and that's what he did.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't have great vision, but that kid can run like really fast. You know.
Yeah, you know, when Barry Sanders came out of school, that was one of the things people said about him. His vision wasn't great. He was a one cut guy, but he was so dang quick. If you got him a space this big, he was gone. Lightning bolt. Right. So.
Hey, I wanted to talk real quick about something. So moving back to Chesney for a second, his coaching staff from Holy Cross, when he moved to JMU, I just looked this up, 7 coordinators followed him from Holy Cross to JMU. Okay, including Dean Kennedy, quarterback's coach. Let's see here, trying to give you a little bit more names. Dean Kennedy being the big one that has coached their quarterback this year for Blake Barnett. And last year, Blake Barnett beat North Carolina. So JMU beat North Carolina last year, their first year there. That was their big signature win for JMU. If you want to watch that game, it was a shootout. But it seems like the monumental efforts to get to Holy Cross and then to JMU, he's retained a lot of his coaching staff, and you'll probably see that bunch of those names coming forward. I'll bring you links on the chat, but I'll be watching these and stuff, and I'll watch some Dayball film as well. And up and coming to maybe talk some more about these two guys. Seems like it's going to be
people are
them.
saying make Terry Smith the GM. As
It's
long
hard
as
to
he
do
can
that.
partake in coaching plans, I'm cool with that. But I don't know.
He would be set up well with a bull win to then go out and be the ambassador with the amount of credibility then he's amounted to in getting Penn State right. One could argue that he can learn the NIL by just being an advisor ambassador to Penn State. He could be the biggest advocate.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's hard for somebody that's old school to get into the NIL politics.
Mhm.
But if you listen to his presser on Monday and him talking about taking K-Tron home for Thanksgiving and doing all this stuff, what a better ambassador for Penn State. And them and their relationship and it developing into what it is to where like they're family now. That's the type of somebody you want in that GM role. He just needs to grow into it.
All right. So I don't mean to cut you off, Aaron. So Thomas, Aaron sent me something earlier. Franklin at Penn State win percentage versus opponent quality. 85% against losing teams, 45% against 500 teams. That is very bad.
It's terrible.
Franklin versus Chesney win percentage by opponent quality. 85% versus losing teams compared to 80%. I'm sorry. Franklin 85% against losing teams. Chesney is 80% against losing teams. Franklin was 45% against 500 plus teams. Chesney is 60%.
And that's at James Madison, not Penn State. That he's doing
Yes.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, is it that Assumption, Holy Cross, and JMU combined, or is it
Yeah, I
just
think that's
JMU?
Holy Cross and JMU. Yeah.
Okay.
So Aaron, are you saying that it's easier to do at JMU, or
It's harder because James Madison does not have a substantial talent advantage over teams in their area that managed to win over 500, right? Penn State has a substantial talent advantage for teams that managed to go 6-6, right? So
exactly
45% is not good for a team like Penn State.
you're-
I'll be honest, I think that gets you fired from Louisville, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I believe I did those numbers for Charlie Strong at one point, and his were better than Franklin's, as I recall. When
Chris said the other night that he'd rather play at the University of Alaska as a quarterback than he would at Penn State under the previous coach. But even at the University of Alaska, I think he would still get fired for percentages like that. But you're right. It is harder because you're facing more similar talent. You can beat the living crap out of Maryland every year because, bro, they don't have anywhere near what we have. We are a powerhouse when it comes to talent most of the time. So
I'm assuming JMU's D1.
They are now.
They are now.
So real quick, Dad. JMU is number 20 right now.
Yeah,
that's insane.
The
only loss they have, and I believe Thomas told me this week or sometime this week. The only loss they have is at Louisville when they made a mistake. That is their only loss right now. Yeah. That guy knows how to win games.
Okay,
he's a real coach.
Yeah,
and that's not SIG's players either.
Yes.
What were you saying, Dad?
What's that, Thomas?
I said that's not Signetti's players that stayed either. He took most of his players. I want to do a quick shout out to Brian Rhodes. This quote right on the board right now about Smash Mouth football in Penn State. However, that's so true. That's so true. That's your identity right now.
Mm-hmm.
Will it continue? Hopefully, if you recruit the right talent and you recruit to that. Yeah.
I'm just a little nervous. I mean, somewhere I read Penn State's in a Power 5, and then JMU's a Power 4. So I'm a little nervous about bringing,
They need group of 5 conferences and Power 4, group of 5.
Yeah.
So they're in the Sun Belt Conference. So they're in the group of 5.
They're in G5. So that's
I like, bring him in as a maybe OC and mentor him and get him used to the Penn State atmosphere. It's leagues above JMU,
Oh, yeah.
I think. I mean, Penn State's just a dominating name. You know what I mean? And you mentor him into a head coach. I think it'd be a safer bet than just trying to throw him right into the fire. Terry's proved himself in the last 6 weeks and 5 games that he can handle the heat.
Well, he's not like James Franklin. He doesn't have to do it alone. You know?
So
I love that marriage that Thomas is talking about between Chesney and Frank Terry, but
right.
you can't make him a GM though, because I don't think GMs are going to go to be head coaches, right?
There's just too much responsibility.
Yeah.
Too much going on in NIL and in player development, and then scheming the weekly strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, Terry Smith is never going to buy another alcoholic drink in State College ever again. So that's already been established. But if he wins this week and then wins a bowl and then he steps aside and becomes an assistant, he's doing what Russell Wilson should have done. He should have stopped before he went. Maybe after the Broncos, he should have stopped. His career, his Hall of Fame ballot, I don't know, dude. Like, his Hall of Fame ballot is, like, I would say up in the air right now. Like, there's people that he stepped in, did his job. That's it. Now, I'm going to go back to maybe a higher position at Penn State than I was before, but I'm doing my job, and then I'm going to step aside for the next guy. I don't know. I mean, Russell Locke, okay. But
be interesting, really, really interesting.
But he could step in, and it could go bad. I mean, it's very possible it could go bad for him. You know?
Just don't sign the 10-year, $100 million contract. That's all.
No one should do that.
Ever.
My God. Franklin signed a 10-year, $85 million deal after they went, 5-7 or something like that?
Yep. Shout out to the Penn State legal team for putting a duty mitigate in there.
Yep. Top lawyers in the country. But same with Brian Kelly. I mean, this guy has so many character issues, and you signed him to, it was 10 years, right?
10 years, $100 million. The payout was 70.
Brian Kelly. How long was he at LSU?
3 years.
4 years.
3 years.
3.5.
3.5. So the buyout's 65.
Aaron, you said earlier Marcus Freeman's first year was last year?
No.
Marcus Freeman. No, his first year, I believe, was 23.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. So 10-year, $100 million. Brian Kelly is known as he's not a good person, but you sign him to a 10-year deal. I mean, that's signing a deal with the devil if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like Bob Chesney, whoever it is, bring him in, give him, I say 4 years. No matter who it is, give him 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
That's all. Someone, Rage Bait said, how is Terry going to recruit with a 3-year contract? Well, he's going to call people and go visit them and do whatever recruiting does. That's what he's going to do.
It's more of a
3-year deal.
Contract. Okay.
It's a 3-year contract, man. Like, that doesn't mean they can't sign him for more.
Yeah.
It's just
shows
what you can do.
And then
Joe Paterno coached guys to Penn State, and they didn't know if he was either going to retire, or literally, like, he was older. I mean, he could have, like, anything could have happened with him. He didn't even know if he would be there in 4 years, and he still got people to come to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned 3 years, but 4 years, the freshmen, see what he can turn them into as seniors, and then reevaluate.
What he's done with Gronk alone is insane.
What he's done with everything is unbelievable.
Very impressive.
Aaron, you can read off those graphs if you want.
Oh, yeah. No, it was just some interesting information. So looking at them, you know, I had Kalen DeBoer and Bob Chesney because they were both high targets for Penn State. I never really bought the Kalen DeBoer one, but who knows, right? DeBoer was, you know, he was winning about 90% of the time against lesser opponents. Opponents basically who are under 500. He's winning 90% of the time against those in his career. Now for him, he's up around 75% against opponents over 500 or better. So that's pretty darn good. I mean, it helps when, you know, I know Alabama fans like to give that guy a hard time, but they would give anyone a hard time over there.
They're
you know,
pretty
you win
delusional.
five ranked games in a row. You're doing some things right.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. But
So his percentages across the board are better than both of them.
yes, yeah, and there's a reason. There's a reason people consider him a home run hire. He has earned that, you know. But I just don't. I saw it as never really realistic. I always thought he was just taking our offer and using it to remind everyone at Alabama that he can leave if he wants to.
Yeah, but he was really set up. Like Chris Peterson was the head coach right before
He was. Yeah.
in Washington. Like he was Boise's head coach when they beat Oklahoma. Chris Peterson was like, and then he takes that. It's like Tomlin taking Cowher's players and winning the Super Bowl. Okay, and then you take Saban's team, and you know you have a decent season without your best offensive coordinator. So do I want DeBoer? No, because I think that he's not going to be able to win under adversity. It's going to be a very similar Franklin spiel with
he needs to stay
too much
somewhere
for the game
for a long period of time, and that's
Right.
That's why they say like I always get
the
angry
data
with
size
that.
isn't enough. The data size isn't enough.
Yeah, and that's what I get frustrated with media for the way they use data all the time, because even these numbers, these are just base numbers. You have to drill down into them to really understand what they mean. James Franklin's record, if you drill down into it, sounds good at face value. I think he was like 101 and 46 or something at Penn State. Yeah. But if you drill down into it, what you'll find is that less than 33%, or I think it's 33% of his games were against teams 500 or better at the end of the season. And if you drill down to that, he was like 17 and 33 against those teams. And if you drill down into that and say, well, what about only teams that are top 15 or better? If you take those out, he's still only 13 and 11 against teams that were just managed to win games. So
the interesting stat line that also should be shown is against top 10 talent, what was the point differential plus minus against top 10 talent?
It would be pretty close, I would think, because a lot of his games they didn't lose by a lot. But what I did find interesting was if you put the tape to it, one thing that always stood out to me is coaches who were really good field coaches. Those were the ones that tended to really take the screws to Penn State when Franklin was out there. You look at Jim Harbaugh, once his talent was up at Michigan, he didn't have those 3-point games that we were having with Ohio State. He would just kind of step on us. And
what about Michigan State? They blew us out a few times too.
Michigan State, when they were at the peak, they had some good coaching there at the time too. Good field coaching. If you have the same talent level and you put a good field coach against a bad one, it's going to show pretty quick. And even then, like guys like Manny Diaz, they can only bail you out so much. So
what do you mean by field coach, Aaron?
Field coach meaning just guys who are their game day prep is excellent. Their players come ready to play, and their plan and their adjustments during the game are top notch. I consider that to be a good game or a field coach to me, is a guy who, he's not the coordinator, so I'll judge the coordinators differently on the actual play calling. But in terms of how ready is his team to play, when they show up, how is the game plan? And when the game plan goes south, which it always does, how do they adjust and how well do they adjust when the other team starts changing the way they punch you? And Franklin was one of the only coaches I've seen at a top 15 program where he got, in my opinion, he got out-coached almost every game. It was pretty rare to see him out-coach the other guys. So that was
on a scale of 1 to 10, what would he be?
Oh, I'm sorry.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would Franklin be?
Well, I used to say this because I know a lot of media say, like, isn't he a top 20, top 10 head coach? And I go, sure, if you talk about his administrative management. His administrative management was probably top 10 in the sport. But if you were asking me, like, where would I have him on the field coaches? 90th, like somewhere in the 90%, like 90% of coaches would be better than him in the sport right now.
I mean,
a 2
literally high school head coaches could step in and do better than him.
Well, I would say the
Terry?
legal coordinators
What's
from
that,
2023 would be worse than him still.
Like Terry Smith.
Yeah, like Terry Smith, high school
Well,
coach.
Terry Smith would definitely be better than them. But yeah.
Would you say that he's a? I'm sorry. Would you say that he's a an on-field coach?
Terry Smith, yeah, he comes off to me as a game day coach. He is a guy who he's very good at getting his players ready. They make good adjustments on the field. You have to remember, we don't have much of a sample size with Terry yet, so these are just early observations. But you have to remember those first couple of games he played in, he's picking up someone else's stuff and trying to work with it, right? So you saw early changes, but then those changes got more and more consistent. They kept trending north as each game goes on. He was getting better and better. So the indicators I have from him in that really small sample size is that he's a very good game day coach.
Yeah. I want to point this out too. Like in the Iowa game, they kept showing him up close. It looked like he had tears in his eyes.
He looks like that a lot. I don't know if he just has like maybe.
I don't know if he has a gland issue or something, but I think he's yelling so much and he's so fired up. He's literally almost crying. That's how fired up he is. Because he looked like that. Yeah, he looked like that against Iowa, Ohio State. This week, he really looked in the zone. I mean, he just looks
he was really
insanely focused. And he had his Joe pin on, and at Michigan State, he looked super focused. Now, I'm going to give you an example of that look, which I think it's the same look. Back in 1999, when we literally probably could have won the national title, but we lost the last 3 games. The opening game against Arizona, Rob Oshinsky, a friend of mine, he's a trainer. I've had him on this show. Rob Oshinsky, he's a longtime trainer, played college football for some time, and then he got hurt. He was a coach at that time at Penn State. Okay, he was an assistant coach. So against Arizona, his job before they went out for kickoff, kick return, whatever, was to go down the line and pump the guys up.
Hype guy.
So he's going down the line. He gets to Justin Kirpakis, and he said Justin Kirpakis was standing there like Frankenstein. His hands were shaking, his head was shaking, and he had tears rolling out of his eyes, and he was just staring into the field. He was so fired up. He was so ready to just go kill someone. Terry Smith is the same way. He's so focused, and he loves Penn State. He loves football. So whether or not he's the head coach, as long as he's there, because I don't think Franklin properly used him.
No.
As long as he's there, I think that makes a difference. So, there's a lot that everyone can learn, whether they come in as a new coach or they're current or whatever. There is a lot you can learn from James Franklin.
Right.
Oh, sure.
So
yeah, Terry sitting in the shadows for the last 12 years. Light bulbs.
He literally.
Coming on. This is the way I would do it if I was coach.
Yep.
He must.
And he's doing it. What's that?
Would you say you would do what?
Coach Terry's been sitting in the shadows for the last 12 years thinking, if I'm coach, this is the way I would do it. And now he's has a chance to do it, and he's doing it.
For a bald guy, his hair's on fire for this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, he, like I said, he must not have listened to him. Like, he must have used him very little. I think he literally said, go, and he said this, I stayed in my lane. I think he said, go coach corners, and that's it. Even though clearly he could have used some help. So I don't know, but that energy that I just said is extremely infectious. And I think that'll pay dividends.
And he's not a quitter. I think that's a big thing. Not being a
No,
quitter does a lot for you in life. I
And he
remember,
said quitting
Yeah.
quitting is not an option under me.
yeah.
if you're an Army guy or Mark Sr., you're from the old times. My first job in the Army, I was a combat arms guy, and I showed up in my very first duty station. My platoon sergeant takes me outside, and he makes me do push-ups and run down the hill, do push-ups, run back up the hill, do push-ups, run back down the hill. And I did that until I threw up about 4 times, and I was just doing this and crawling on the ground because I couldn't move anymore. And he comes walking over to me. He says, "Do you know why I made you do that?" I said, I couldn't think at that point, so I don't even know if I said anything legible as an answer. And he says, "Because I wanted to see if you quit. Would you quit on me, or would you go until you were basically about to die? And now I know I can count on you.
Mhm.
So when things get bad, I know that you're a guy who doesn't quit." Makes a huge, huge difference because everyone around you can trust you better when they know this guy never walks away.
Mm.
So I know my left flank, my left flank, my right flank, they're good, man, because the guys next to me, they don't quit. And it changes the mentality in a whole building, really. When you have that, when that's the norm, just there is no quit. So,
It's not
and
an
I see
option.
that with Terry.
Yeah, he's there now.
I admire his drive.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to talk about the rivalry weekend?
Sure.
You guys good
Big
on
game.
time?
Oh yeah.
Can I go back to Aaron? And what was those 4 criteria you said as the field coach? That's
Mhm.
interesting. Very interesting.
You could have a whole topic podcast about that.
Dad forgot 12 years ago. It's been a long time since Dad's seen that, so he forgot.
Oh,
game
man.
time adjustments, prep for the game. What was the other 2?
Prep for the game time adjustments, and having the players ready. So prep. So when they get to the field, what state are the players in mentally? Are they ready to play the game? And then the other thing I look for is controlling the play calling and things like that. It's a lot harder to see that from footage. But how is he handling the juggling effect? Does he still handle the clock really well, right? Or is he just in space doing something else when, there's 1:20 left and there should have been a timeout called. Why is nobody paying attention, right? So coaches who are really good on-field coaches, they can juggle all of that, and they're successful because they're really decisive guys. They even if they're wrong, they'll decisively be wrong. And I used to say, like in the military, we used to say sometimes it's better to be decisively wrong than to have a problem making the decision and just sit there and waste time, right? Because then the decision gets made for you by the situation, as opposed to you making the decision. And hey, if it goes bad, guess what? You've got such good people that you've worked with together. You'll make it work anyway. So, and
yeah, coaching is coaching, man. That like you just said, that you're like after Notre Dame last year. Brett was saying how we didn't have receivers, and that's true. Like we really didn't. But I said it was an excuse. We have receivers this year, and it went way worse. So apparently that didn't help. But a real coach, it doesn't matter who you have. Like you just said, it doesn't matter who you have, man. Joe Paterno could walk into Walmart, get 22 guys, and go compete for a Big Ten title. James Franklin could have 7 Hall of Famers, and he would still lose to Ohio State. So there's a difference.
They're second guessing themselves, just like Aaron said. He's just second guessing the decision every time. Franklin is, and that's what happens. Wanted to say something on behalf of you talking about Terry as a on-field guy. I think what I want to see from Terry, and I've only seen him battling back against one team, and that was Indiana when he was battling back from a deficit in the fourth quarter. I want to see his fourth quarter scoring going up as a interim head coach versus Rutgers and in a bowl game. Why I'd like to see that is that's the mark of a true, credible, on the field coach is that at the end you finish strong. And honestly, that'd be the biggest smack in the face to James Franklin, because every time he's been like, finish strong, like Yeah, it was all words, but Terry has a chance within the last two games, definitely Rutgers, to just completely score like 28 points in the fourth quarter if he wants to.
Mhm.
And I want to
Yep.
see that for him. That's gonna win over so many people.
When was
And
the
the bowl
last
game.
time we truly saw, besides like Nevada, honestly, we came out in the second half and went down and scored? It was against Nebraska, man. Like that was such a statement.
Mhm.
Yeah, we shut that fourth quarter down. It was like
Penn State has
clock was
not
gone.
done that consistently.
And that was, for me, that was in the book
Yeah.
of, is he good at adjustments? Can the staff make adjustments well under him? Because they came out in that second half knowing what the new adjustments needed to be. They had a plan, they executed the plan, and it worked. And they showed good execution the whole way through that plan.
And they didn't just run the ball, man. You know, they threw the ball. Like they did everything, you know?
Yeah.
So, guys, we're 20 subs away from 1,000. Please help us get there. Please.
And they interviewed
so
Terry
close.
right before halftime, and he said something like, the first half is over. We're playing the second half now. His
That's right.
mentality is unbelievable.
And what do? They go down the field, they get the ball and they march down the field and score. Right?
Yep.
So
Yeah, I mean, that's what I
Tom?
talk about, the energy. Like his energy,
know.
I think he's so focused and fired up. That's why he looks like his eyes are wet or teary. I don't know.
Yeah, I also
Right?
wonder if he just has allergies like I do this time of year.
But he's gonna say, "Yeah, I'm just fired up," but in reality, he's allergic to flowers or something.
Could be the turf.
He's allergic to the lion.
he's allergic to corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lion's running around too much. But anything else about this?
Somebody said, let's pray that they announce it on Sunday, but I say give Terry the next game and a bowl game and then sleep on it.
If they announce they have 15-day window for those transfers to start going to Virginia Tech or wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
All right.
But I tell you what, it rides so much on that Rutgers win to send off the regular season. Got to be a win.
All right, Dad. They hire Bob Chesney Sunday. Terry Smith is not the head coach, and we don't know what's going to happen with Terry Smith. How are you going to feel?
Yeah, like I think Thomas said about coming down off the mountain or something, but just hats off to Terry, no matter what happens. These last 6 weeks, 5 games have been the most exciting games I've witnessed for years. And it brings me back to, of course, 86, 12-0 national champions. It's just an exciting atmosphere. So no matter what happens, hats off. Thank you, Terry.
Yep.
Love you. Thanks for bringing Penn State back. After Joe left, pretty much Penn State football died, and Terry brought it back to life, and I appreciate that. I appreciate him, his effort, and all the hard work and time he's put into bringing it back. Thank you. No matter what happens.
Yeah.
Well said.
You're the best.
and like I mentioned the other night, the reel I made between Franklin and Terry. I bring that up because I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works, the algorithm, whatever. I don't know, but a lot of people. So that has 248,000 views and
Wow.
13,000 likes. Okay, so I think a lot of that's almost 3 Beaver Stadiums of views. Okay,
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is Penn State people were very happy, and it was shared like over 1,000 times. So that's a lot of Penn State people that saw that, probably watched it multiple times. The morale of everyone is way better, and that's because of what Terry Smith is doing. And that morale can keep going. It can keep going, whether it's Bob Chesney, whoever comes in. They can keep that going But Terry is going to have to be like involved in some way. I hope that, because more than anything, we're going to, like, let's say they bring in a head coach, like, all right, this is our head coach, here's his presser. Terry Smith is also going to have a presser, so we all know what he's doing. Like, they're going to have to, I hope that they mesh that very well. Like, this is what Bob's doing. Thank you, Terry. This is what he's doing now. You know, because the fan base, they can totally screw it up because the fan base is so behind Terry Smith right now. You know what I mean?
Pat Kraft's going to definitely have to come out, like you're saying, and here's Terry Smith, here's our interim, here's our new. This is how it's going to look, the triangle, or it's going to be Bob Chesney moving forward. Terry Smith is not with the program. Something. It has to be definitive. For it to be in the gray is going to throw everybody off course. You need to be concise. You need to be direct with it. It needs to be a full message going forward with no gray.
Yeah, someone just said DJ 5000. Maybe Terry was the palate cleanser. The nostalgia has been wonderful. Now a new coach, in a new direction. As I want him to be involved.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, we got to stick together and support whoever comes in. By the way, if my computer resets, just keep talking and I'll come back on. I don't know if it will, but sometimes it does. You guys know that. I want Terry and Chesney, so I want Terry and Chesney. So
Is
GM,
that no
then,
GM, or it must
No
be no
GM.
GM.
Yeah.
There's somebody's got to take care of the NIL.
Yeah, someone has to.
And it won't be Kraft, correct? Everybody's like, nope, not Kraft is not going to be the GM. Okay.
No, he's not. He's not James Franklin. He's not going to try to be the AD, the GM, the
Well,
head
and I
coach.
think that's the issue. It's not that he couldn't do it necessarily, Thomas. I don't think. I think he could do it. It's just he shouldn't be trying to do that and be the AD at Penn State at the same time.
That would be like a Jerry Jones. That would be like it's way too much. Yeah.
Yeah, too much. Because you have to remember, Penn State has a lot of very elite sports programs.
Wrestling.
And he has responsibility for all of those programs too.
Exactly.
Our hockey team is rocketing up right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. He's got to be responsible to them to keep doing a good job for them as well. So
everybody, the reason Bill Belichick was so good at what he does, so good at what he did, and that's what he did. That's long gone. He's cooked now. But
yeah, he's a little spin.
everybody do your effing job. That's what he said. Do your effing job.
Dictatorship.
That's what everyone needs to do. GM does his job. Terry Smith does his job. Head coach does his job, whoever it is. Pat Kraft does his job. That doesn't mean Pat Kraft can't be on the sideline. He's there to support his guys. You know, that I love seeing him on the sideline. He looks like he's going to go out and tackle an Ohio State kid. You know, so like Ohio State in 23, he was like right there. And I think Kajana Carter was there at that time too. I think Kajana was at that. I remember in 08 when they played Ohio State, Kajana Carter was right there on the sideline when Pat Devlin put that QB sneak in. 18 away, guys. Keep going up. Almost 1,000. Get us to it.
I'd like to see the OC and the DC on the sideline, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another great point. Yes.
OC and DC on the sideline. I mean, Manny Diaz, man, that was exciting to watch him on the.
Yeah.
Someone should have been a Halloween costume of Jim Knowles talking to a walkie-talkie up in a booth. That would have been a great Halloween costume. Like, dude, what's he doing?
Yeah, that's getting more and more common now.
People during games, people always ask me, what's he doing? Who's he talking to? And I'm like, I think he's talking to the kid's helmet, right?
Yeah, I believe they do have a proper helmet mic now for that.
But
those
walkie-talkie,
those cut out so bad. So the walkie-talkie's way better of a comms for that. Yeah,
he still yells at the thing like crazy.
So wait, Thomas, you're saying a walkie-talkie to the kid's helmet would be better?
No, I'm saying him using the walkie-talkie instead of the mic.
Yeah,
is a better form of communication downfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only reason why he's using it is because like he wants secure comms.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yep. That makes. I mean, the guy just won a national title, so he knows a thing or two about
Oh, sure.
a thing or two. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
either way, I think he should be on the sideline. Coordinator should be on the sideline. Manny Diaz was literally like,
Another
I mean,
player.
if he would have put pads on, you wouldn't have ever known that he was a coach. You know what I mean?
So Knowles is
Wait.
more. Yeah. So I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No, you good.
I wanted to say like Knowles is more of your secondary defensive coordinator. He's more worried about controlling the skies, meaning the passes, and so he needs to be up in the sky. But Diaz was more of your front seven. He was the blitzer. He was your stunts. He was the crawler package. You need to rile up your guys on the sideline. So that's why Diaz worked down there. But the meshing of two, I mean, you can't get both. I mean, it comes from a position specific background. And there's benefits of both. There's pluses and minuses of both. But I mean, to pick your poison. I mean, that's all. I just wanted to raise awareness for it.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I gotta get going. It's
All
after
right,
10
Alan.
for me, so I got some work to do. But thanks for having me on, and
Yeah, no
happy
problem, guys.
Thanksgiving to everybody here and in chat.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good Thanksgiving, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Have a
happy
good rivalry
Thanksgiving.
weekend. So
Yeah, it should be fun, man. Be a good weekend for football.
yep,
Thanks for
absolutely.
the insight.